everyone, my name is Shelby and this is the YouTube series where I reveal what's inside these mystery pottery molds I found on Gumtree. This is part 23 of revealing what's inside the mystery molds, and I got my friend who sometimes comes over to help me out around the studio to pick one this week. I let her go ham. She had a look through them all. We just did this video so that we could put the story together, but she'd already gone through and picked one. I got her to pick one out because a lot of people suggested that I should try one where someone else cleans them all up for me and I just have the mystery. I've done one of those before with the shoe mold where I didn't know what it was inside because it hadn't been used before, but this one has been used, so she cleaned it out for me, and I'm guessing because it's got the 6 holes that it's potentially a set of 6 shot glasses. So because there's holes on either side, I started by pouring one side, letting it absorb the moisture and create a shell, and then I tipped out the excess, and then I tipped it over once it was dry enough and poured the other side. So with molds like this, I have to wait for both of the sides to be ready, to be dry enough, and you can kind of see how it's coming away from the mold on the hole. That's when you sort of know that it's ready to pull apart. So I gently pull this apart because I don't know what it is and what's joining it, and I was totally wrong. It's not shot glasses at all, it's Easter eggs, and I don't know why I didn't think it was going to be Easter related, because every time I get her to look through them, she picks something that's themed for that week. I think they're adorable and I'm really excited to paint these up with lots of pastel colors. They should be a lot of fun. So looking at the mold, it says Decorated Eggs by Duncan Ceramics, and it's from 1971. I can't even remember whether there's an older mold or whether this is the oldest. I just feel like the 70s feels like the oldest mold so far. So looking at the mold, it's really evident that they are eggs. So I'm glad that this one was a mystery for me, because it was a little bit tricky thinking of what these 6 holes could be. So once they're all dry, I just gently wiggle them out. That one in the middle was actually the hardest to get out. I had to wait for it to dry a little bit more before I pulled it out. So that's why that cut frame there a little bit. You probably didn't even notice because I tried to edit it so you wouldn't notice, but I'm addressing it. And then I cut off those pouring spouts. I noticed when I cut the pouring spouts off that some of them were rather solid and some of them were rather hollow. So that's going to be something that like for future pours I need to be aware of, which eggs I need to let set for longer or which eggs I need to pour earlier and tip out earlier so that they're all the same sort of weight and consistency. But in a way I kind of like that they're all different because they sort of add a different like holding them, once you see the finished result, when I held them they just have this different feel and you can kind of juggle them, kind of like those stress balls. I don't know what they're called. Someone's going to tell me in the comments. I'm going to be like, yeah, those things. I'm literally talking and I could look it up right now and start the recording again, but I'm not going to do that. So yeah, they just have that really nice weight and different feel to each egg. Something that wasn't really notable in the mold was that each of these eggs are kind of varying shape and height. So they're not all the same. So I was really stoked that they're all a little bit different and they're not all symmetrical. Now, because I thought they were going to be shot glasses, I poured another set. I patched up the little holes that they had and cut off the tops. So I'm going to turn some into sort of some little celebration Easter eggs. So with each set, I decided that I was going to paint with my normal colour palette because they're quite pastel-y, quite fun, quite popping, lots of spring floral colours that is usually around Easter because it's based off that spring season that you see in the Northern Hemisphere. In Australia we go into an autumn winter, so sometimes the colours don't really feel like they align, but we have all the spring colours here anyway, so I'm going to go with that because that's what I'm used to and it's the colours that I love to work with. So I paint with the underglaze and I just add lots of different colours. I'll probably just try them out soon, but I went over, there was like an Easter bunny egg, so what I did with that was just sort of painted it one colour and then added the details to the bunny to bring it to life. And then there was another one which was a mold, like it was almost like one of those Oh my gosh, I was saying the word of the egg before and I've forgotten the name, but one of those eggs where it's got like the picture on the front. So I did a little Easter egg with a carrot on the front of that one. So the carrot was actually my favorite part of underglazing all these, was underglazing that carrot. I don't know why, it just felt so fun. It was such an easy shape and the result of it was so lovely. I did this set now that I'm moved on to, which I just did a mix of a few different colors, and I just dabbed my paintbrush in so that it would just be a random splodge of color all over it. But yeah, enjoy me painting underglazing, and then I did a set for glaze, and I'll chime back in when I get to that set. Okay, so I'm chiming back in a little bit early. I ended up bisque firing all these, which you'll see in a second, but as I watch back this footage, often I'll be, I can't record in the studio because sometimes there's outside noises. I'm literally working in a tin shed, so I can't stop it if it rains. So talking over the video and thinking about what I was thinking, feeling, it's just so much easier and more clear for you to hear what I'm saying. But as I was watching back, I realized that I was doing something in this video that I got my first troll comment about, and it actually really upset me because this person was really attacked me as an artist, and they attacked me for what I do and how I use my materials. So this person just said that it was very distressing the way I glazed and the way I use my materials, and they were saying that they were very toxic materials and that I should have more knowledge into what I'm using. I have the knowledge into what I'm using, and that's why I use it the way I use it. These are all non-toxic glazes, all non-toxic underglazes. I have done my research and I know what I'm using. I'm going to assume by this comment that this person has probably heard a lot about lead in glazes. So back in the 70s, throughout history really, the glazes often have a high concentration of lead, which is so toxic. So over the past couple of decades, potters have been experimenting and playing with color to figure out recipes that are non-toxic and are food safe, that do not contain lead, so that we can use them in our dinnerware pieces today, so that we're not causing harm to ourselves by inhaling lead, by ingesting it in any way. I wanted to address this, that they are non-toxic, don't come for me when you don't actually know what I'm doing and what I'm using. So that's just like a little FYI that everything's all safe, so that you're aware, because I have had a few comments before where people have been like, are they just decorative mugs? No, they're not. They can be used. They are all food safe and absolutely perfect for use and everyday enjoyment. So that's why I love doing this, is because it is like a permanent artwork, like one that you're going to use for years and years to come. It's not just a painting, it's something that you can use every day, which is why I love pottery so much, and it's such a transformative process. So to that troll, please don't make assumptions about what people are doing, and ask the question first and then educate, rather than, attacking me and making me feel really bad for 24 hours. Strange thing about sharing so much of my art online is that I'm bound to get comments like this, and that's a sad reality. But if I have one message, it's just to be open and understanding that people are all on their different journeys. I have the knowledge about my materials, but there might be someone else who's sharing information online that doesn't, and it's about politely and kindly educating people so that we can all grow in our craft, and not attacking them and making them feel guilty for not having the know-how, because it just makes it harder for people to learn. So it's about having open learning and sharing the knowledge with everyone. Anyway, back to it. Here is the finished result, and it is a kiln full of rainbow egg friends. They are absolutely amazing. I am so impressed. All of them together, they cannot be separated. On their own, they're a statement, but together they just look so magical. So I'm going to walk through each individual egg I did. So the first one, which was my favorite, was this carrot. At the start, I didn't really love the detailing on this egg, but adding that carrot just makes it so poppy, and I love it, and it's perfect for Easter and little bunnies everywhere. The second egg was the daisy one. I knew I was going to love this one. I could see so many different colorways and combinations that would look so cute with this egg. Yeah, hard to complain with this one. The bunnies were a little bit awkward because they were upside down. They're the only ones that were upside down. They're a little bit top heavy, so that would just mean that next time, because I didn't know what I was pouring, next time I would just pour that one a little bit thinner so that they're not as top heavy, and they'll sit a lot easily. They do sit, but yeah, they're a little top heavy. The only one I didn't really like is these ones, and that's just because of the shape. I didn't like how they had the lines going up and then this weird detail on the top and the bottom, and they're the only ones that had the hole on the side. So if you can remember the mold itself, these were the ones that were sitting upright where the other ones were sitting flat. So the hole is evident on the design, which I don't love. And you need the hole to get the air to escape from the pieces, because as the heat expands in the kiln, it can cause explosions if there's no hole. As for the rainbows, I didn't really talk about them, but they all came out amazing. I love this splodgy paint effect. I will definitely do this again. It looks amazing. And here is the glazes. I didn't talk about this before, but I did use some test glazes on these to see how they would come out. I don't like that shot glass at all. I rushed that and it's wonky, and I don't like the glaze, but this pink glaze I love. It came out so pastely and beautiful. The cool thing about glazes I like, where they differ from underglazes, is that they are just like the one color and you can mix them to get really cool reactions, but they also settle into all the crevices, so they give a darker color, so it's a really cool effect. I had issues with this glaze, but it's a happy surprise in a way. Like, it was a mistake, but it created this crawling glaze that I've always wondered how to make, and I accidentally made it. So I don't love it on this piece, but I've got this really cool crawling glaze I can play with, because I always wondered how potters made that. So happy accidents came from this reveal. And then the orange sort of did the similar thing. It had a bit of crawling on it. I'm sure there's an official term, I haven't looked it up, but the green and the yellow also had that sort of effect, so I'll just have to play around with those test glazes a little bit. So I just used a white base with my own sort of stains and colorants to sort of change the colors to make them pastel the way I wanted them. So yeah, just a little bit of trial and error that will come from that, and it's all a learning experience. All in all, I really love this mold, and I can see it being a classic decor item in your home. I find the designs really tasteful and quite eclectic in some of the eggs, and they're really easy to adapt to your own style as well. You can do lots of different things. We tested out the little shot glasses as well with some Baileys, not sponsored at all, just something I know that people use during Easter. And then I popped them all for some cute little photos in a basket, because who doesn't love an egg basket? Let me know what you think of this mold reveal in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe for part 24.